Well, welcome back, viewers. Now, Angela, I think we should remind our viewers when they're out there buying their packages of chocolate or little candy wrapped chocolates, we need to talk a little bit about some of the people that made this possible, because back in the early days, it really started only as a drinking chocolate, did it not?
That's correct, and that's the way it transcended from Mexico over to Spain.
Yes.
And again, brought to the courts and shared around. It was the addition of sugar that actually made it palatable.
Yes.
So they started drinking chocolate, adding sugar as a drink, and it was a luxury.
And only the wealthy people actually drinking it because it cost a lot of money.
That's correct. And even these beans were actually traded through the ages as a commodity. So
as a commodity, isn't that amazing?
Right. So people really had a high value for cacao.
Yes.
And again, as a traders going through Europe, towards Germany, Switzerland, these were just transcended.
Don't forget the Venetians, that's my background.
I know, don't forget the Venetians.
But it was basically the Spanish, I believe, that took it into Europe. And of course, from a drinking product, it then became an edible product. And by that, I guess we mean back in the mid-1800s, we've got some pretty amazing people, because Lindt himself,
the conching machine, and that's where we actually got the cocoa mass and started adding cocoa butter.
Yes.
And this process of conching, it's like for 96 hours, a machine manipulates this chocolate till it comes silky and smooth.
With heat, correct.
That's
correct. So that's when we put chocolate in our mouths, you get that lovely smooth texture.
Luscious type of flavour.
Yeah, and that's, the more you conch, the better the greater chocolate. Is that correct?
I'd say the more you conch, you'll get to a stage that you can't break it down anymore. But it's usually a process for about 96 hours.
And then, of course, we have people like Fry from England. Now, what did he do? He developed the first candy bars, did he not?
He did, and he's one of many people who realised that chocolate was going to be around forever. We like the chocolate, we like the taste of it, and against like Hershey in America started a candy bar manufacturing, and again in the industrial age, suddenly we had candy bars going through, the manufacturing industry, promoting outside towards the European market, the Americas. Yes. It was fantastic.
And then we also have Van Houten, the great Dutchman, who in the end gave us drinking chocolate, because he actually separated cocoa from cocoa mass, and that's why we are lucky enough to be able to have cocoa as a drinking. So we really have to sort of pay homage to these people, because chocolate is where it is today because of these people.
That's right, and it's again through the ages it's developed and even continues to develop. From our dark chocolate as we see it now, which is roughly about 70%.
Yes.
We have our milk chocolate, and we also have our white chocolate.
And white chocolate.
And again, white chocolate is something that people the purists say it's not a real chocolate. It's full of cocoa butter, but it doesn't have the cocoa liqueur or mass. But people seem to love it.
So it's still the same.
It is. It does come from this fruit or vegetable.
Yes.
And it is something that we can say, yes, it is chocolate, but the purists believe it's not.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
And on that note, I guess can you take us through the paces, I guess, that the students are actually in the kitchens here?
Certainly.
And they're producing some amazing products. But I want to ask you one question that our viewers at home will be wondering: what is couverture chocolate and what is compound chocolate?
Well, when you go to a supermarket and you actually go and pick up your chocolate bag, turn it around, have a look at their list of ingredients. You'll see straight away if you've got vegetable oils in there compared to cocoa liqueur or cocoa mass. The couverture is a cocoa mass, the cocoa liqueur. If you've got vegetable oils, it's actually a compound chocolate.
Right.
And how you work with both of these chocolates is quite different.
Yes.
You don't want the grittiness. If you've got a couverture, you melt it down. You need to go through realigning the crystals in the chocolate.
Yes.
And to get that snap, that shine, that lusciousness that's on your tongue when you're eating chocolate. It's great for kids to introduce them to chocolate.
Yes.
But if you want to get more technical, couverture is the way to go and take it through that process.
And of course, it's what the bakers and all the real people that are actually working with high-end chocolates, they ask for couverture.
That's correct. And again, it's becoming more regional or original, where you can actually get your chocolate that comes from Papua New Guinea, you've got it from South America or Africa, and again, different people are adding things like yogurt to chocolate these days. So it's really changing.
Or chili.
I love chili.
Do you know that it was the Italians that actually introduced chocolate into savoury cooking when they do the sweet and sours with their game? So I just wanted to get a little bit of a plug in for the Italians.
I think
considering this is an Italian regional show.
I think Italians, Nutella, so it's so beautiful, and chocolate and hazelnut. So how?
Yes, and they put it in our pizzas. Oh, that kills me.
But I'd like to take through the process of even just melting the chocolate.
Yes.
And when we actually melt our chocolate, we talked about the bain-marie.
Yes.
And you mustn't take the chocolate over 45, 50 degrees.
Right.
It's very important not to do that.
Right.
Again, you'll cook the chocolate and it'll just taste gritty. And as you see when we're looking through the program, the different kinds of chocolate that you have, you've got your from the compounds to the couvertures. And with the couverture, you don't want to take it over 40 degrees. Also, the compound, you don't want to take it over to 40 degrees because you don't want to lose that shine and that setting ability.
What about, talk to me about tempering. What does that mean? Because that's another word that scares us, because it's got to do with thermometers.
It is, and you'll see when watching the show that I've got a thermometer, and that thermometer tells me what temperature the chocolate is at,
right,
and where I've taken it to melt the chocolate.
Right.
Ideally, we need to melt all the crystals in the chocolate without getting too technical.
Yes.
We need to realign the crystals.
Okay.
So we bring it up to 45 degrees.
Yes.
We take it back down to, with a dark chocolate,
yes,
about 27 degrees, 28 degrees. Bring it back up to a working temperature for about 30 degrees, 31. Depending on the manufacturer, there is a variance of a degree here or there, and it is different from milk chocolate to white chocolate as well.
Okay, so different okay.
Yes.
Now, what about blooming? Tell me about blooming.
Blooming is when you've actually, if you get your couverture chocolate and you just melt it and just pour it onto a bench or onto a tray and let it set, you'll actually see there's like white lines going through the chocolate.
Which is not a desirable thing?
Not a desirable thing at all.
No.
And it's like it's bloomed. Yeah. And it's not, doesn't have the eye peel, and it'll be set in a way, but it's actually gritty. You won't, when you go to eat it, it won't be luscious.
I think the most important thing that Andrew has taught me today about chocolate is when she snapped the chocolate, there's a sound. And that's when it's perfect tempering. Is that correct?
That's correct. I talk, it's like the chocolate's talking to you. And when we talk to our students, I listen to the chocolate talking to you, and I snap the chocolate. If it's not talking, don't eat it. And that's the way to go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, Angela, I think we need to talk about the students and their skills and what they're doing here. I think, because I know it's a fairly long process as part of the Certificate 4, is that right?
That's right. And the students that do our chocolate course, they're actually in stage 3 in a Cert 4 in patisserie.
Right.
And William Angliss...
Which is 4 years? Is that
no, it's actually, it goes 18 months full-time.
So but you needed to have been at the school for 3 years to complete your Cert 3 before you can do Cert 4?
You need to do Cert 3 before you do Cert 4, but it doesn't take the 3 years.
Okay.
It's a process of 3 stages.
All right.
And the students who actually undertake chocolate or our specialist skills here at William Angliss, they do like chocolate works, showpieces, sugar works. So they're all skills that you don't normally see out in industry.
No.
And what we're trying to do is promote the students to reintroduce these skills into industry and actually grow these skills, because it's a dying trade.
It is a dying trade. And where do they get the inspiration from?
Well, from their teachers. The teachers here at William Angliss are absolutely sensational, and they all have a beautiful skill set that they bring to William Angliss. They've been internationally trained, and this reflects in our students and the work that they do. As you see behind us, we've got some lovely showpieces that the students have been creating.
Yes, absolutely.
And these ideas come from the students, and we, again, engage our students to be challenged, to think and create, and that helps them when they transgress into industry.
And also, I think that it's a valid point to say that since about 2005, 2006, there's been a real sort of upsurge in all the chocolate houses here in Victoria itself.
Caterina, you just need to look anywhere around Melbourne, either from Brunswick down to St Kilda, and chocolate shops are just emerging everywhere.
Yes.
And ideally, we're training students in new techniques of spraying chocolate.
Right.
We've got the only institute here in Victoria with an enrober, and you'll see like biscuits going through there, jellies going through there. It's absolutely amazing what we train them into and when they take these skills into the industry. And
so I was just going to say, tell me about the moulds, because obviously, I mean, you can create by hand, but you never get something perfect, so you need to use
right. And with moulds and making chocolate, if you want to do it at home, you can get the polycarbonate moulds, and as they're quite sturdy, I've got a nice fun one here. It's a Freddo Frog. You can add compound or couverture chocolate in here.
Yes.
Let it set up. Just tap it out, and the chocolate falls out if it's tempered correctly, or if it's
now that's a good point. So let me ask you: are they using couverture chocolate or compound?
We use couverture chocolate, and and luckily we're sponsored here at William Angliss Institute by Chocovic, and they provide Spanish chocolate, believe it or not, which is it's fantastic chocolate. So it's
and it's a couverture.
It's a couverture.
Okay.
But we also have other brands that we use and compound, but with our chocolate course, it is a couverture. Yes. With our showpieces, again, the students are modelling and practising.
Yeah, so, it's not for eating, is it?
No, that's right. So we use a compound, which is easily to manipulate. Yes. And again, we just melt it down and reuse again after again. Right. You can use couverture for that, but compound is what we use for our showpieces back here. When we're spraying, it's definitely the couverture.
And on that note, we're now going to meet another wonderful teacher here, a skilled teacher here at William Angliss, a gentleman called Shane Greenman, who has a specialty like no other because he works with sugar. And sugar is something that obviously you can see behind us, but there's a bit of another skill, another science involved in that, and he's going to take us through the paces.